Have you ever noticed how some people seem obsessed with the worst version of you? No matter how far you've come, how much you've healed, they keep bringing up your past, like it's the only story worth remembering. Why do they do that? Greetings, fellow seekers of wisdom. Welcome back to Stoic Journey, where ancient philosophy meets modern life. If you're new here, I'm honored to walk this path with you. Today's video explores a powerful idea. If they keep bringing up your past, this is what it means. Now, as a lifelong student of Stoicism, I agree with the title, but I also challenge it because it's not just about what it means for them, it's about what it unlocks in you. Are they reminding you or trying to control you? Are they helping you grow or hoping you'll shrink? This episode goes deep, and I promise you'll walk away seeing your past in a whole new light. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Stoic Journey so you never miss a moment of timeless truth. Ready? Let's begin. Embracing the past without being bound by it. Marcus Aurelius once declared, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In these words, the ancient philosopher encapsulated a truth that is both brutal and liberating. Our past struggles, mistakes, and failures are not mere dead weights meant to keep us imprisoned. They are, in fact, the raw materials for forging a stronger, more resilient self. In the modern age, where society is quick to tear down those who have stumbled, this truth is more essential than ever. Too many people cling to the shattered reflections of your former self as if that version is all you have ever been. It is as if the dark stains on your history are emblazoned for the world to scrutinize and condemn without mercy. In a society that thrives on scandal and sensationalism, the voices of detractors echo through social media feeds, office corridors, and even within family circles. They attempt to anchor you to that past version, the person who faltered, failed, or hurt someone along the way. This is not an act of honesty or care. It is a deliberate, almost malicious effort to keep you subdued, locked into patterns of inadequacy and regret. The cruelty of this behavior lies in its irony. Those who force your past into the spotlight often do so because they are, themselves, prisoners of their own unresolved issues. They project their inner darkness outward, seeking a semblance of control in a chaotic world. To embrace the past, however, you must refuse to be ensnared by it. Instead of allowing external voices to dictate your self-worth, reclaim the narrative. Consider the relentless barrage of criticisms and derogatory comments as an opportunity, a harsh but honest mirror showing not your weaknesses but the shortcomings in the character of those who cast the blame. Examine how your hardships have honed your resilience. Your past is a battle-scarred shield, not a chain that shackles you. Reflect on a contemporary story. Imagine a talented individual whose early career was marred by missteps and public failures. In the age of viral videos and endless comment sections, every mistake is magnified, condemned by an unforgiving public. Yet this individual chooses to see the criticism for what it is, a mere echo of societal cruelty, and instead uses it as a platform to rebuild. By harnessing the sting of rejection, they reinvent themselves and ultimately carve out an unexpected path to success. The dark narrative once imposed upon them transforms into a source of unparalleled strength. Ask yourself, have you ever been trapped by the insistence of others to define you by your darkest moments? Consider the possibility that the wounds they keep recalling may reveal more about their own fragile states than your true potential. In this confrontation with the shadows of your past, the most valuable exercise is to reclaim control. Take a moment now to write down 3 aspects of your past that no longer serve as your identity and juxtapose them with 3 qualities you now embody. This exercise is simple yet transformative, a method to remind yourself that the past is only a chapter in an ongoing story, not the entirety of your being. Visualize the brutal truth. Society, with its rampant obsession for exposing flaws and failures, is eager to keep you rooted in your history. But remember, the power to rise lies in your refusal to be anchored by outdated narratives. Let the scarred pages of your past fuel the fire of change rather than smoldering embers of regret. In this act of radical self-affirmation, you confront not only the cruelty of others, but also the darkness within yourself, emerging as a beacon for those still yearning for liberation from the tyranny of the past. Mastering your emotional responses. Epictetus once proclaimed, "It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our interpretations of them." This enduring wisdom cuts to the core of human suffering. It is not the actions of others that wound us, but the emotional turbulence stirred within. In a time when a single comment on social media can shatter even the strongest of spirits, mastering one's emotional responses is an act of defiance, a rebellion against the toxic impulses of our society. It is an acknowledgement that you possess the power to choose your reaction, to decide whether the ghost of your former self will haunt you or serve as the catalyst for your evolution. In today's world, emotion is a currency exploited by those in power. Politicians, media outlets, and even our peers manipulate our sensitivities to drive engagement, to stoke controversy, and to keep us perpetually on edge. Every insult, every disparaging remark aimed at resurrecting your past is designed to provoke a reaction that reinforces your sense of inadequacy. The true test of character is whether you can see these provocations not as indictments of your worth, but as reflections of the biases and insecurities of the aggressors. Consider this modern parable. A professional, now far removed from the reckless decisions of their youth, receives an offhand remark in an email from a colleague. Remember when you couldn't even handle a simple task? The comment is draped in the guise of a jest, but its underlying intent is clear, to trigger an emotional response that drags them back into self-doubt. Instead of succumbing to the familiar sting of shame, the professional takes a deep, deliberate breath. They recognize that this comment is an external projection, a tool designed to unsettle and control. By reframing the remark as a reflection of the colleague's own unresolved insecurities, they refuse to grant it power over their present. Their emotional sovereignty is maintained, and in doing so, they demonstrate a quiet, unyielding strength. Now I challenge you. When someone's words sting and dredge up memories of past failures, do you allow the emotional fallout to dictate your day? Or do you pause, step back, and choose a different interpretation, one that liberates rather than enslaves? Reflect on this today. The power to transcend the immediate, primal reaction is not only a Stoic exercise, but a vital survival skill in an increasingly volatile world. Here is a concrete exercise for you. For the next 7 days, keep a journal dedicated solely to moments when your emotions are triggered by comments about your past. Write down the situation, your initial emotional reaction, and then a revised thought that reframes the situation from an empowered perspective. Over time, this practice will train you to detach from the automatic negative responses and foster an inner calm that no one can erode. This exercise is not merely reflective, it is a form of emotional strength training, a way to reclaim your serenity in a society that profits from your instability. By choosing to master your emotional responses, you are not only defending your mental state, but also sending a clear message to those who dare to wield your past as a weapon. You are in charge. You are the architect of your emotional reality, and no one else can dictate your worth unless you allow them. Embrace this truth with the cold, unrelenting clarity it demands. The darkness around you may try to pull you into cycles of despair, but your deliberate, measured response can be the beacon that defies that darkness. Transforming criticism into growth. Seneca once observed, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." This aphorism speaks to the transformative power of hardship. It is a call to arms against the corrosive forces of criticism and negativity that permeate modern society. Criticism, particularly when it fixates on your past mistakes, often comes dressed in the cloak of concern or honesty, yet its true purpose is to demean and control. In our brutal and unforgiving culture, every disparaging word is a reminder of failure, a tactic designed to keep you small and powerless. But within every attack lies an opportunity, a chance to forge your character, like steel tempered in the hottest flames. The stinging words of critics are not an unchangeable verdict on your identity. They are challenges thrown at your feet, meant to be overcome. The very same society that is quick to highlight your missteps is also the one that revels in spectacle, in the downfall of those who dare to rise above their circumstances. The cruelty of such criticisms is a reflection not of your worth, but of the critic's inability to confront their own limitations and failures. It is time to flip the script. Use criticism as the raw material from which you build the next phase of your self-improvement. Let us examine a modern case. Picture an entrepreneur whose early ventures were fraught with miscalculations and public embarrassments. Social media buzzed with derision, and their every misstep was amplified, serving as a relentless reminder of their so-called incompetence. Rather than succumbing to despair, the entrepreneur scrutinized each piece of criticism. They dissected the harsh words to uncover any kernel of constructive feedback hidden beneath the layer of vitriol. What emerged was an actionable blueprint for growth, an honest appraisal of past errors that, when corrected, led to a resounding comeback in both business and reputation. The transformation was not instantaneous, but it was undeniable. Criticism, when stripped of its venom and reinterpreted, became a tool for profound change. I ask you now, have you ever experienced a moment when criticism, especially of your past, felt less like an attack and more like a challenge to evolve? What lesson did you extract from that bitter experience? Engage with these questions and let them stir your inner resolve. The point is to challenge yourself to see criticism not as a damning indictment, but as a mirror that reflects both your flaws and your hidden potential for improvement. For a concrete exercise, take a recent piece of negative feedback, one that dug into your past. Divide it mentally into two parts, the destructive, non-constructive component, and any hint of insight that might be useful. Then, jot down one actionable step that addresses the constructive element. Even if the feedback was cruel, force yourself to find one lesson within it. Over time, this exercise can transform even the most cutting remarks into stepping stones for growth. In a society that revels in exposing and amplifying your darkest moments, transforming criticism into growth is an act of rebellion. By turning every accusation into an opportunity for self-improvement, you render the critics powerless. You let their words bounce off you like weak arrows, unable to wound the core of your emerging strength. Embrace this hard truth. You are not defined by every mistake you made, but by every lesson you learned. Your evolution is your own, and when you choose growth over submission, you reject the harmful narrative woven by a society that thrives on your failures. Cultivating inner peace amidst external challenges. Marcus Aurelius once wisely noted, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This statement cuts deep into the heart of our modern dilemma. We live in a world where external chaos, relentless criticism, and the constant barrage of negative input threaten to saturate our minds with despair. Yet, the power to cultivate inner peace lies not in denying these harsh realities, but in choosing how we allow them to color our perceptions. In an era where every news headline screams doom and every social media post is a contest of who can be the most vicious, maintaining a calm inner state is nothing short of a revolutionary act. Contemporary society has not only normalized but actively celebrated the spectacle of conflict and negativity. The omnipresent digital sphere is rife with insults, recycled criticisms, and bitter reminders of past failures, all designed to provoke, to unsettle, to keep you in a perpetual state of emotional disarray. Those who persist in dragging up your past do so not out of genuine concern, but because they themselves are steeped in insecurity and fear. Their inability to move on stems from a deep, personal paralysis, a condition that demands they hold others to the same stagnant standard as a way of justifying their own arrested development. Imagine the scenario of an individual plagued by constant reminders of old transgressions. Perhaps it's a former friend, an ex-partner, or even a family member who time and again dredges up a mistake long behind you. Their words are cold, unyielding, and often laced with an almost clinical detachment. Each reminder is like a calculated injection of despair designed to trigger old wounds. Yet, within the Stoic tradition lies the resolute truth that your inner landscape is yours to govern. The turmoil they attempt to inflict is not an inherent part of your being, but a choice to either absorb their negativity or reject it with unwavering calm. I challenge you to consider, in a society that seems hell-bent on celebrating chaos and conflict, how do you maintain your inner fortress? What practices can you adopt to ensure that the external noise does not infiltrate the sanctum of your mind? These are not abstract musings, but critical inquiries that demand a practical response if we are to navigate our modern world with integrity. Here is a powerful exercise to take control of your emotional domain. Every morning for the next month, set aside at least 5 minutes for a deliberate mindfulness meditation. Find a quiet spot, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. As intrusive thoughts about past failures or negative external voices arise, acknowledge them without judgment, then gently guide your focus back to the steady rhythm of your breathing. Record your experience in a journal each day, noting any shifts in your mood or how these moments of quiet reflection empower you to face the day with a renewed sense of calm. This simple practice can become a cornerstone for inner peace, a daily ritual that fortifies your mind against the corrosive effects of a society obsessed with negativity. Let this exercise be a testament to your sovereignty over your inner world. In rejecting the toxic narratives peddled by those who dwell on your past, you take a bold stand, a stance that says, I decide the color of my soul, and I choose tranquility over turmoil. When the world outside is awash with anger, despair, and manipulation, your inner peace is both a refuge and a rebellion. It is an act of defiance against a society that would have you believe that chaos is inevitable, and that you too must succumb to it. Ask yourself, how many times have you allowed the opinions and harsh reminders of others to dictate your mood for an entire day? What would change if instead you reserved your energy for nurturing a calm, centered self? This introspection is not for the faint-hearted. It demands brutal honesty about the influence of external forces on your mental state and the courage to claim your emotional autonomy. In these turbulent times, cultivating inner peace is not merely a luxury, it is a necessity. It is the foundation upon which true growth is built. By steadfastly maintaining your inner calm, you send a resounding message to a world that thrives on discord. You are more than the sum of your past mistakes, and you refuse to be cast as a perpetual victim of outdated narratives. The power of inner peace is transformative. It frees you to harness your full potential and live unshackled by the bitterness of external voices. In closing this segment, consider the stark reality. The society we inhabit is merciless, often reveling in the pain and failures of others. Yet, amid this darkness, the light of inner peace burns as a beacon of hope and strength. Embrace that light. Commit to practices that fortify your spirit. And remember, each moment of calm you create is an act of defiance against the forces that seek to pull you back into despair. Each of these segments stands as a pillar of the Stoic path, a call to confront the darkness of society with an unwavering heart, to embrace your past not as a prison, but as the foundation of your strength, and to transform every negative impulse into the momentum for forward progress. Through these exercises, reflections, and raw, uncompromising truths, you are invited to join a community that dares to rise above the toxicity of modern life and build a future defined by inner strength, resilience, and boundless potential. Now, I encourage you to take these teachings and apply them to your own life. Reflect deeply on each interactive question, practice the exercises with relentless determination, and share your insights with others who are also on this journey. Your evolution, your mastery over your past and your emotions, is a testament to the indomitable human spirit, a spirit that refuses to be diminished by a society enthralled by its own cruelty. In this world of harsh truths and unyielding realities, we must learn to stand apart, not as victims of our history, but as architects of our future. Embrace the darkness of the society we live in as a constant reminder that only through hard, sometimes cold self-reflection and rigorous discipline can we truly transcend the limitations imposed upon us. The Stoic path demands nothing less than total authenticity, a relentless pursuit of truth, even when that truth is as bitter as it is liberating. I leave you with the call to action. Recognize the critics, the manipulators, and the cynics for who they are, a reflection of their own internal battles, and above all, refuse to let their poisonous words dictate the rhythm of your existence. Stand tall, master your emotions, transform every shred of criticism into a lesson in power, and above all, cultivate a peace within that no external force can ever shatter. Remember, the past is merely a chapter in the epic story of who you are becoming. It is up to you to rise, to harness the darkness, and to convert it into a beacon that lights the path for your continued journey toward greatness. In closing, I invite you to take a moment to reflect on the powerful truths we've discussed today. Remember, every challenge you face is an opportunity to transform your life, and the power to reshape your narrative lies within you. If you found value in this discussion, please like the video, share it with friends who might also benefit, and subscribe to our channel Stoic Journey for more transformative insights. Now, here's a challenge for you, a short 5-day Stoic Empowerment Challenge. I've created a simple checklist to help you begin harnessing the power of Stoic principles in your everyday life. 1. Day 1. Reflect on your past. Identify one negative event that you feel is holding you back. Write it down, and then list 3 ways it has contributed to your resilience. 2. Day 2. Notice your emotional triggers today. Every time you're reminded of past criticism, pause, breathe deeply, and consciously choose a different reaction. 3. Day 3. Reframe one negative comment from your past as a learning experience. Share in your journal what lesson you learned and how it can push you forward. 4. Day 4. Dedicate at least 10 minutes to mindfulness meditation. Allow yourself to release past hurts and affirm that you are not defined by them. 5. Day 5. Engage with someone whose feedback stings. Practice acknowledging your emotions, but also remind yourself of your growth. Reflect on this interaction by writing a brief comment about what you learned today. I encourage you to comment below with your progress throughout this challenge. Let's start a conversation. Share your experiences, your breakthroughs, and even your struggles. Your story can inspire someone else to rise above their circumstances. Ask yourself these questions. What did you discover about yourself? How has reframing your past changed your perspective? Which exercise challenged you the most? Remember, every insight you share contributes to building a community that supports one another in our shared journey toward inner strength and resilience. So, don't hold back. Drop a comment, exchange thoughts, and tell us about your personal victories, no matter how small they may seem. Your participation not only enriches your own journey, but also lights the path for countless others seeking solace and strength. Thank you for watching and being part of this dynamic community here at Stoic Journey. Now go out there, take this challenge head on, and let's rise above the confines of our past together. Keep pushing forward, stay resilient, and live with the fierce conviction that your present and your future is shaped by the strength you muster today. Until next time, stay strong, stay stoic, and remember, your story is yours to redefine.